Circleville, Ohio is known for its annual pumpkin show, the greatest free show on earth that started in 1903. It draws over 400,000 visitors to the small Midwest community of 13,000. While it may look like the average small town found in every state across the country, its history belies the tranquility of white picket fences and neighborly gestures of goodwill. The town that lies just south of Ohio's capital has many stories of mayhem, mysteries, and murder. In 1967, Lee Holbrook brought a box of dynamite to the drugstore where his wife worked. There was a struggle, and the dynamite was detonated. Holbrook and 4 employees died, and the drugstore and neighboring buildings were destroyed. Then in 1976, the mysterious Circleville letters started appearing in mailboxes. The poison pen letters were sent out for decades, accusing citizens of embezzlement, domestic violence, love affairs, and murder. One day it all went too far and someone ended up dying in a horrible auto accident. This now brings us to the cold case of school teacher Vicki Koch. Vicki was a native of Sandusky, Ohio. She came to Circleville to start a teaching job just 2 years before she was murdered. The young woman dedicated herself to teaching children with learning disabilities to read. Vicki, who was adored by her family and students, planned to further her education to help as many children as possible. Sadly, we would never get to see her fulfill her dreams. August 10, 1980, would be the last time anyone would see her alive. Vicki had met up with friend Phyllis Young and 3 others to see a play in Chillicothe that was about 25 miles from Circleville. No one remembered seeing anything out of the ordinary that evening leading up to her disappearance. A few days after her night out with friends, Vicki had planned to visit home to see her parents. When she didn't show up and their calls went unanswered, the Cook family notified authorities on August 14th and filed a missing persons report. After doing a wellness check, Vicki's car was found a block away from her apartment. The doors of the car were found unlocked and it had a full tank of gas, but no keys were found. Vicki's twin brother Rick said that was out of character for his sister. She was responsible and cautious about her safety. Vicki's parents met authorities at her apartment located at 4080 Lancaster Pike. They found her radio playing, and an alarm that she had set was buzzing. There was no sign of a struggle or a break-in. However, a window screen was found removed and lying on the roof. The keys to her car and apartment were found on a table. Authorities were now looking at an abduction, and a search for Vicki began immediately. A brief description went out to every bus station, airport, and police department across the state to be on the lookout for a 5'5", 130-pound, sandy-haired woman, aged 25. Over the next month, 75 people that knew Vicki were questioned, and 12 lie detector tests were given to persons of interest. Searches were conducted on foot and by air, but they were all dead ends. Then, on September 17th, everything changed. All hopes and prayers for Vicki's safe return came to a tragic end. The waiting for the Cook family was now over. A township employee was mowing the berm along a rural area of Madison County just 25 miles from Circleville. Just beyond a ditch in a cornfield, 2 to 3 rows in, lie the skeletal remains of Vicki Koch. In a brief statement released by the Cook family, they said, "At least now, we only want to know when and why, not where." Madison County Sheriff Stephen Saltzman said the remains were mostly skeleton with some flesh and a pair of blue jeans. There were no other reports given about Vicki's other clothing. Coroner William Bacon would have this to say about Vicki. Her body had been lying in the field for at least 3 to 5 weeks. Dental records were used to make a positive ID. Without the soft body parts of the remains to examine, a cause of death may remain a mystery. The victim was not shot, nor did she suffer a major injury like a fractured skull, and no broken bones were found. In the days and weeks that followed, frustration mounted with little evidence to work with. Sergeant Ron Thompson, who dedicated countless hours of his career searching for Vicki's killers, said, "This is the most mysterious case I've ever handled. I've checked every similar crime in southern Ohio trying to make a connection. Rewards have been offered, and still the right information has not come." Sergeant Thompson went on to say, "Several times we have felt close, but come up with nothing. Somebody, somewhere, has to know something. There's no such thing as a perfect crime." And just as all hope was lost, a lead came in from Texas with the arrest of Carl Eugene Watts, nicknamed Coral. The pathological killer with a schizophrenic hatred for women may have been in Ohio when Vicki Koch was abducted and murdered. In addition to the 13 killings and 6 attempted murders Watts confessed to, he was also a suspect in at least 28 attacks in Ohio, Michigan, Canada, and Texas, where he was finally arrested. Watts began killing in 1974 at the age of 20. He was known to kidnap his victims from their homes, torture, and then murder them. One of Watts's victims, 20-year-old Gloria Steele, was found with 33 stab wounds to her chest on October 30th, 1974. Watts almost always killed young white women using methods of strangulation, stabbing, bludgeoning, and drowning. Watts would go on an 8-year killing spree before he was finally apprehended. It took authorities several years to connect the dots because Watts attacked in several different jurisdictions in different states. The serial killer rarely sexually assaulted his victims, so the collection of DNA was nearly impossible for authorities to use to track Watts. At the end of Carl Eugene Watts' murderous rampage, he was suspected of killing more than 100 women, which made him the most prolific serial killer in American history. Sergeant Thompson said there were enough similarities in the way Vicki died and Watts' killings to interest him. Thompson went on to say that he would have to place Watts in Circleville at the time of Vicki's murder before he could take any further steps. On September 21st, 2007, Watts, or as he became known as the Sunday Morning Slasher, died in prison serving a life sentence for the crimes he had committed. Sergeant Thompson was never able to connect Watts to Vicki Koch's murder, and Watts, who admitted to killing several women, denied any involvement in Vicki's death. Circleville Police Captain Jerry Smallwood believed the answers to the case can still be found in Madison or Pickaway counties. Smallwood said it best when he told reporters, "Somebody had to see something. A car, anything. You can't do something like that and not be seen. Some people may have seen something, but might not know it's connected. So we'll keep working on it, searching until the killer is brought to justice." Take a good look at Vicki Koch, a 25-year-old school teacher from Circleville, Ohio. Vicki lived at 4080 Lancaster Pike. Sometime before or after 12 a.m. on August 10, 1980, she was abducted, murdered, and dumped in a cornfield 20 feet off Mormon Road near Ohio Route 56 in Madison County. I know it's been 45 years, but if you remember seeing her, seeing a stranger near her apartment, or perhaps seeing a car in an area that was out of place, please help us solve this mystery by contacting the Circleville Police or Madison County Sheriff's Office at these numbers. Are you obsessed with true crime content? Subscribe now and join our growing community as we analyze and discuss the details of some truly baffling cold cases. Browse our growing library of cold case investigations and immerse yourself in the mysteries that keep us up at night. Subscribe and join the EOJ community today. All it takes is a click.